Okay.
So I canceled the neurology appointment. Yeah. And he suggested...
so you at that point were like... Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't think so. We're okay. Yeah. But then he suggested, you know what? Why don't we go ahead and call Easter Seals? Just in case. Because she is somewhat delayed in her milestone with communicating. Uh-huh. And so I said, okay, I don't mind. What's Easter Seals? I had no idea what Easter Seals did. And he said, well, they'll come and evaluate her, and then if they think she needs therapy, they'll send over someone. He said, if there's nothing wrong, it's not going to hurt anything. But if there is something that we'll see more of, then we've already got it in play. So see it more as a preventative thing. And I thought, well, I'm a dental hygienist. That's all I'm about. Let's get it before it happens. So I call Easter Seals, and we get started with just a speech therapist.
Who was that?
Yeah, Angela.
Yeah, that's right.
I believe that's who. No.
So Easter Seals recommended.
No. We just had
Robin.
Robin
came first.
Robin came first. Robin was just like her coordinator, her service coordinator, who had experience in speech and such, but her specialty wasn't just speech or just occupational. And so Robin came in with Easter Seals and evaluated her. And after about 2 months maybe of coming once a week, she said, you know what, Melinda, how do you feel about me bringing in a speech therapist? Well, bring her in. So we brought in a speech therapist.
She actually said both. And remember, the occupational therapist came and said...
Well, first we did the speech, and then she brought the occupational. And the occupational therapist didn't really do a true eval. She came in for about 10 minutes during one of our sessions and played with Sloane and said, I really don't see where I would fit in here. I think she's doing fine. So she went away, and I thought, okay. Again, through all of this, we had stopped.
I'm sorry, was that the speech or the occupational?
This occupational, the speech stuff.
Speech,
yeah. Now, this is off season, so we stopped swimming. But I kept in contact with Diana. Because I could see where there was room for a friendship with us. I liked her as a person. I liked her concern for my child. Yeah. And she showed a great deal of interest in us as a family.
So at this point, you and Paul, you guys are. This is a big.
Well, we're growing more concerned because she's not talking, but you gather anecdotal evidence as you go forward. We've run into lots of people who say our kid didn't talk till 3, and then she hasn't shut up since. And so you hear stories like this, and she's not. The balance of her behaviors are by observation normal. She's happy. And we're first-time parents, and so we don't have a yardstick to measure it by. But she seems normal, and she exhibits intelligence, and so you become more and more oriented towards action as you get further along the path, and we don't hear talking.
Yeah, she turned 2, and I went. There was still no words, and I went, okay.
And you go from it's going to be okay, and all the evidence we have seems to point to normal. All the experts we talk to say she's normal. Then you start going, it's not adding up. This isn't making sense. She should be talking.
The speech therapist said.
And you see her around kids her own age, and we have relatives, and we see her in circumstances with.
Let's also mention why that also got overlooked. When I put her nursery at
the kids were older.
All the kids were older. All the children in her class were of a substantial grade older than her, and all had older siblings.
So
here's what happens. We put her in that class, and they all tend to her. Baby Sloane, and they all do for her. But then the nursery teachers are telling me things like, she doesn't really quite join the group. In fact, she didn't do Ring Around the Rosies till the last 2 weeks of school, which was huge. She actually joined in. She would go do little stemming things like this where she'd find something to chew on in the classroom, and they would let me know about it.
So is she calm and self-sufficient, or is she
aggressive,
withdrawn and troubled?
Right.
It
seems calm and self-sufficient.
Yeah.
And for us,
and so it's not that clear.
No, and for us, she plays a lot by herself. Well, she's at home. She's the only child
right now.
So she plays independently. What's wrong with that? I didn't realize.
Well, I mean,
You understand what I'm saying?
yes,
there weren't
I
any.
actually, this is how, I mean,
That's a pretty good demonstration.
I was like how I was.
Yeah,
Myself,
exactly. I was sort of an only child. All my siblings were much older, so I learned to play by myself quite a bit.
Yeah.
'Cause I had to. So I didn't really quite see where it was a problem because she wasn't a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
No, okay.
back to school.
But I just going back, so for you guys as a couple in your relationship and the kind of the dynamic, was there a lot of stress at this point?
No.
No, not between us, no.
I don't mean between you, but I mean about
No.
this.
No, it was a concern, but we didn't go to bed going, "Oh, what do we do now?"
Okay.
No. In fact, it didn't become that until we got the diagnosis.
Well, in fact, my expectation is that she would come back from the evaluation with them saying she's fine.
So did I. I did not even
And we're
consider
just
the
checking
word
boxes
autism.
at that point.
We got our hearing
Well,
tested
and the other
because we
thing-
thought that our
Yeah,
hearing might be because we
yeah.
come into a room and say, "Sloane,
Said she's
Sloane,"
respond.
she wouldn't respond. I thought, well,
But
I
you
know
know
she
what?
can hear me.
You can tell. I'll give you a good example. That TV, when you turn it on, it makes this sort of high-pitched pinging noise, and she hears it. I know. I can see her. Because when it goes on, she wants to watch one of her videos. Well, and there's evidence that her hearing is fine.
Or if I'd be in another room and I say, "Sloane, Mommy's leaving. I'm gonna go bye-bye." She'd come out of the room. She couldn't see me, so I knew she could hear me.
But
But
we don't
then I
know.
told
We're not.
Paul-
Maybe she only has high pitch. Maybe she.
Maybe her
I-
hearing
who
is
knows?
selective
Uh-huh.
in its abilities. Maybe we
Yeah.
sound like we're underwater.
The function of her hearing is
Right.
is-
So we wanted
So
to
you
rule
had to
that
check
out.
that
So we had
out.
it
Yeah.
checked out. Fine. But the ENT
And we're
said
just checking through boxes,
her
saying
hearing
what is
is
it?
perfectly
and,
fine.
And we had this conversation a lot, which was, we're not overly worried, but we don't want to be negligent if there's something that we should be doing. So we were just working through the and I know we had good resources and good people to talk to. There's 2 doctors in my immediate family, and
there's
Melinda.
children on both sides.
Yeah, and we have lots of resources that we can pull in and people we can talk to, and and no one that saw or knew Sloane.
In fact, it
even
was quite
mentioned-
the opposite. It was, if they said autism, it was, "Oh, she's not autistic, Melinda, please." It was always the eye roll and, "Oh, don't worry about that.
Well,
She's probably just going to talk late or something." It's
Well,
probably
and the other
something
thing
else.
is, I mean, the video and the sort of presentation that you see of autistic kids is of relative extremes, and so anything you would see on TV or anything you would look up on the web, they're relatively extreme examples. You don't see any of this real subtle behavior that she was exhibiting. And I understand academically why you do that. You'd say this is classic autism, and the dramatic cases make it easier to see the characteristics. But it makes it harder in real subtle cases to recognize.